Hello everyone, there's not really much to talk about in today's video, so we're going to take a look at the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, the dollar, and Tesla. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. So number one, the dollar. We know that the dollar has an inverse relationship to the market. If the dollar is strong, then the overall market should be falling. So in yesterday's video, I was showing how after a big move like this, there would be a retest or some sort of a weakness in the dollar, only because we had a big move like this. So it makes sense that we had a bit of an indecision doji candle here, and basically now we just need the prior levels of resistance to hold as support. And one of the things that I like to do here is I draw a Fibonacci level from this entire move of this candle, right? So you can see that the 23.6% fib, as long as the price remains above that level, we are still in very bullish territory. And currently, we retested that level and we never even touched it. And it looks like we're comfortably going to close above yesterday's close on the dollar. So if the dollar's momentum can continue going up, that is bearish for the overall market. Another thing to look at is the MACD indicator on the dollar. We are about to cross above. So generally when we get across above, the momentum continues to either stay neutral or bullish for at least 2 days. So if we get across above tomorrow, then we are going to be neutral on the dollar or bullish. And that is going to translate to being neutral or bearish on the stock market. So keep that in mind. And aside from that, the other thing that you could look at is making a fib level from the recent lows to today's high. And you can see that even then, we're still holding above the 22.6% fib. And we have not even come and retested the 38.2% fib, which is still very, very bullish. So in general, things look bullish for the dollar. And if things are bullish for the dollar, then it's bearish for the overall market. All right, so there's that for the dollar. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla. All right, next, let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla. So Tesla, we can clearly see that we're trading outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band. And what I'm looking for tomorrow is ideally, like one of the easiest trades is if Tesla opens very low and we gap down on Tesla and we end up opening outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band on a daily chart. So if we open outside of the B band on a daily chart, pray that happens, because then basically we can lean long on Tesla and it will most likely come back and retest to at least the lower level of the band. And that is going to be a very high quality trade setup that we could take. And I would love for that to happen. But basically, immediately, the reason why I'm looking at Tesla is because Tesla is a big mover in the market. You can clearly see that we closed below the recent swing low, right? But for this to continue down lower, it would cause like a lot of sellers. So Tesla is, it's tough to just randomly short in the hole here, right? Because something like this can easily rip right back up. So the issue right now is that Tesla, it can do two things, basically. It could gap up or it can continue to fall lower. And if we gap up, then the strength in Tesla is most likely going to permeate and show itself in the overall market. And if that ends up happening, then the overall market is going to be green and the dollar is going to continue to either be neutral or, the dollar is not going to move that much. So it's kind of in the air because the other tech stocks aren't really doing a lot. Tesla is the only one that's overextended like this. So if we quickly take a look at Apple, Microsoft, Google's, not really much is going on, right? So Amazon, Meta, Netflix, AMD, all right, not the chips, but the large tech stocks, they're not doing anything really. So except Tesla. Tesla is the only one that's showing this amount of weakness. And because of Tesla, right, if we get a bounce, right, then it's going to show in the rest of the market and overall the overall markets in general. So there's that for Tesla. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY. So before we take a look at the SPY, I want to take a look at the IWM and the NASDAQ. So we can clearly see right now the IWM wicked below the recent swing lows and is holding that level of support. Okay, so we're holding above. We intraday we fell lower and then we ripped up higher. So the IWM is holding this level of support as best as it can. And so when you take the fib level from the recent swing low from December to the recent swing high, you can see that 184.80 is a major fib level. So we're at the 50% fib level. And that's basically coinciding with where this level of support sort of is holding, 185 on the IWM. We wicked down lower, and it's tough to just, you know, the IWM is holding support. Obviously, like, this is just a difficult situation to either be long or short. But yeah, I mean, there's that for the IWM. This is a major level of support. Anything below that, then we can easily see the 180 level. And then Bitcoin is definitely going to take a hit. If the IWM can't hold this level of support, then Bitcoin is going to take it's gonna take a hit, most likely. There's that for the IWM. Next, we could go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ clearly much stronger than where the IWM was. And the NASDAQ was the biggest winner today. And the tech stocks basically showed a lot of strength. And we bounced pretty heavily, dependent on the tech sector in general, right? So basically, we're holding the fib levels very, very well. But the issue is that the MACD indicator is still falling lower on the NASDAQ. So the slow MACD line, yes, it's beginning to curl up. So the overall momentum of the NASDAQ is starting to shift upwards. But the faster acting MACD line is overbought. This can lead to short-term like weakness, right? Unless buyers can really just step in and just completely just rip this up. But that would be the only way that this momentum doesn't get, if this downward move in the MACD doesn't play out in the NASDAQ, is if an enormous amount of buyers come and just rip this up. And that is possible currently. This setup and everything is bullish, and it's possible based off of the weakness that we see in Tesla. If Tesla gets a gap, basically the NASDAQ was doing this while Tesla was very, very weak, right? So if Tesla gets a huge gap down, say for example, like it gaps down or it falls lower outside of the B band, and then this leads to a big move in Tesla intraday, then the NASDAQ can also continue to move upwards as well. And then a lot of the buyers in the chips and in the AMD and NVIDIA and everything, AMD and NVIDIA don't even need to continue to skyrocket. All they would need to do is just be neutral or slightly bullish. They don't even need to make a huge move. And that would basically cause the NASDAQ to move up. And that would also play in line with what I was saying with the dollar needs to be neutral for a day. And for a day or two, neutral to bearish. So that would set it up for a big move tomorrow. There's no news coming out tomorrow as well. The only news that we have is going to be on Friday. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But so far, the NASDAQ needs to just break above this downtrend, and needs a lot of buyers to step in. And that's going to be dependent on Tesla buyers and the continued strength in the chips. But yeah, there's that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY now. So on the SPY, you can clearly see there's a better bearish picture being shown here because the SPY is being heavily influenced by the IWM as well. So you can see that this MACD indicator, it's pointed lower. It's sharply pointed lower. The momentum of the SPY clearly still feels very heavy. Today, we didn't even break above the 50% of this move here, of this candle. So that's still not really that strong. The only sliver of hope is that, similar to the IWM, the SPY broke below these recent lows, wicked, and then closed above. That's the only sliver of hope that we have. And to go long purely based off of this is very, very risky, given the fact that the overall momentum is still weak and a lot of different things can still happen. So it's tough to swing long based off of these setups here. And yeah, we could move upwards tomorrow, but it would just be much easier to day trade or scalp an intraday move, especially if we get a gap up, all right, and if the overall market is green tomorrow morning at 9:30, we can lean long, and we can see how buyers we could feel out the market. That's what we do every day, but purely just going long based off of this is very risky. Overall, the overall momentum is still bearish. We're still going to be bearish as long as we don't break above 405, and we should continue falling lower unless we get a really big rip to the upside tomorrow. And it would need to close above like the 618% fib. So unless we get a close above like 402.50 tomorrow, then it's still just going to be an opportunity to just be short, or just load up into more shorts on a pop up. That's basically it, in my opinion. Because the dollar is just, we cannot neglect the strength in the dollar. But yeah, all eyes are going to be on the dollar as well. Let's not forget how bullish this looks. So clearly, you know, this was a huge move on the dollar. So if this continues up, then that's not going to be good for the market. So yeah, we just need to see how everything plays out. So I hope I did a good job explaining my thought process. A lot of this is also going to be dependent on how we open, and we can't really predict that at 4:30 p.m. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you.